the measurements again. I think you missed that? All right. So there is a formula on the board in there. It will make no sense to you until you are actually doing this. Valerie, do you have your jig?
Yes.
Can I have, wait, I found mine. Hold on, here it is. Before you start, you're going to want to make a jig. It doesn't matter. The length doesn't matter. It can be any length. It's fine. But you just want to take a piece of Davy board, bookbinding board, and on one end it's 2 sheets glued together, and on the other end it's a single sheet. So you just cut one long one, cut a part of it off, and then lay it on top and glue it. Because this creates a ply measurement so that you can get your the measurements of your slip case exact, because it gives you the measurement, the thickness of the bookbinding board, and it helps you to cut the different pieces so that they line up perfectly. Okay? So I cut my bookbinding board. Mary, you've got a photo, but your phone is not. My bookbinding board is going to be the height of my book, plus, good morning, Tori, plus 2 ply. So I measure the height of my book, take this, hold it down to the end, mark it, and that's how I get the height of this piece. The I need my formula. Hang on. Somebody go take a picture of that in there.
I have a picture.
You got a picture? Okay. I just want to make sure I'm right. If you've got a photo, you can just tell me.
Oh, it says height of slip case. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes.
Book plus 2 ply jig.
So book plus the double part of your jig. So you lay your book down on your piece of Davy board. You lay this on the end of it, and you can mark it a couple of different places, and that will give you the height of your board. Okay? I did this on the board shear in there so that I had a perfectly straight, you know, if y'all will recall, I squared my board, and then I sat my board in there, and then I added this to give me that measurement right there. What's the next measurement? Width.
Width of slip case, book plus 1 ply jig.
Okay, so the width is the book plus 1. Wait, say that again.
Book plus 1 ply.
Yes. So it is the width of my book plus the single side of my jig here. Okay? So when you are cutting, that's how you're going to get the front and back part of your slip case. Now, you've also got to cut the spine and the top and the bottom in order to make your slip case. So what's the spine measurement?
The spine is book spine plus 2 ply.
Yes, so it is the same height as your book plus 2 ply, which means the basically what I'm getting is one piece of bookbinding board on this side and one piece of bookbinding board on this side. So it's double, hence the 2 ply part of it. Okay, and what's the top and bottom?
It's book or slip case with minus 1 ply.
So this is, I can take the width of my slip case, but I'm going to subtract single ply piece, because when I assemble it, and you'll see just in a minute, I'm going to put this guy down first, and then lay this in. So I'm making like a little tray, and I'm subtracting this piece right here. This is one single piece of bookbinding board. So if you'll follow that formula in your measurements, it should work out perfectly. Okay?
Could you replace that last step? I'm sorry, I got confused.
Yes. So the front and back
Okay.
width is 2-ply. I'm sorry, top and bottom is 2-ply because I've got 2 pieces of bookbinding board that are going to form the top and bottom. On this, it is the width of the book. And then for this piece right here, I'm subtracting 1 ply because I want it to line up perfectly. And so I'm subtracting.
Okay.
Okay? It will not make sense until you're doing it.
Yeah.
Absolutely will not.
Okay.
So don't overthink it.
Good.
Just write that formula down and you'll have it. Now, I mentioned to several of you last week that before you start box making, it's convenient to have one of those cheap paint rollers, and it is handy because you can work very fast, and with box making you have to work fast because the glue will set up. So I'm going to put my spine on, try to line it up quickly, and then I'm just going to hold it here for a few minutes. Probably be a good idea to use my triangle to make sure I'm at 90 degrees, but I feel like living on the edge today.
Sometimes you just got to.
I know. So I'm going to just hold it just long enough for that glue to set up and make contact. This is the delicate part of box making, is that you're gluing these little vertical strips to the base of your slip case, and they have to stand up long enough for you to get the top part on. You can build a tray for it. There's all kinds of things, and it'll be sturdier than you think. And sometimes you have to reapply glue because it flops over. I did not. I covered the inside of my case, all parts. I failed to, but you should cover a whole sheet of board before I started cutting my my spine and my.
Sorry, I'm hungry. Well, you know what? You should have eaten something.
Because you can't, you don't want to come back after the fact and add an inside. So you cover it all, then you cut your pieces out. But I was in a rush and distracted, so now I'm going to put this guy on here, and I'm assembling, and then after I get it all together, I'm going to put a weight on the top of it and leave it for a good long while. So you can see, if you're really paying attention here, that you can see the 2-ply, 1-ply business, how it mathematically kind of works out. If it's not right, this strip would stick out too far. Like if I hadn't cut the 1-ply off, it would be over the side, or this would be, you would have a gap where the two are supposed to come together. So chances are, if that's happening, then you missed it on the calculation.
So you're making a box for one book, but technically we're making a box for 4 books?
Correct. Yes. It's the same principle. All you have to have is the measurement of all the books stacked together.
What's like the largest box that we can make? Because my books are really big.
You can make as big a box as you want. This one is actually probably a little bit harder than what you all are making because I don't have as much surface area for my top bottom. I'm working with a really delicate. Just remember, I forgot something. I'm working with a tiny little strip that doesn't have a lot of glue, surface area for glue, so it makes it really complicated. Did you get this far, Valerie? Last week?
I'm on the part where you subtract the 1 ply from the top and bottom.
Okay.
That's where I'm at. So, kinda
Kinda.
this far.
After you do it one good time, you will, it won't be so complicated.
I have to cover it before I glue it together though, right? Or do you cover it afterward, like in paper?
No, you do the interior of the case
Okay.
before you assemble, but then you do the exterior of the case after it's assembled.
Gotcha. Okay.
And because we're gonna do that on Thursday, I'm gonna show you how to wrap it
Okay.
and complete it.
Do you wrap the inside as well?
No, see, when you cover all of the pieces of your board with the inside, this is the inside.
Okay.
And then it's cut into pieces that you assemble, and then we wrap the outside. Yes.
I don't know if it's the perspective, but is the white on the inside of that last piece you just put down?
It doesn't have, I
Okay.
didn't, I grabbed those quickly. I didn't cover them. But you should. So don't use me as an example. Do as I say, not as I do. Okay. So after this sets up, you can, if I wasn't in an all-fire rush here, I might just put a weight on top of this and let it sit before I add my top layer. But I'm gonna go ahead and add my top layer. And again, I'm using a brush. A roller is ideal because it doesn't run glue down the sides of your board. And if it's falling over, pull it up and add more glue. There are a million different boxes. They are all different in their construction. We're just learning one, which is a slipcase. But your books have, I think, examples for all kinds of different ones. So then now, I'm gonna add the top. Don't like that piece right there, but. Okay. And then I'm going to take a piece of paper, if I can find one, and I'm going to stack some weights on the top. You want to make sure that you're not, it's not crushing under the weight of it. But actually, the slipcase will be really stronger than you think. But you want to make sure that the box, the edges are making contact all the way around and that you don't have gaps, because that's what weakens it. So if it's made contact all the way around, it'll be stronger than you think. And you just want to sit some weights on top of it for a while, till it sets up, until it dries. And then it'll be ready for wrapping, which we'll do Thursday. And that's very quick.
Which sounds like a